Good morning, everyone. Let me start by welcoming each of you to the 2023 ACC Football Kickoff. We thank you for coming to Charlotte and for your time and investment in covering the ACC, our membership, and intercollegiate athletics. I also want to recognize ACC Network for its live coverage of our now three-day event. If there's anything we can help you with throughout the event, please let me or our staff know. Before I share some thoughts about the conference and our tremendous student athletes, I want to pause and remember three important members of the ACC family. At the end of last season, we tragically lost Virginia student athletes Lavelle Davis Jr., Devin Chandler, and Deshaun Perry. There are still no words that can fully express our collective grief over this devastating and senseless loss. Our hearts and prayers remain with their families, teammates, and the entire University of Virginia community. And Lavelle, Devin, and Deshaun, you will never be forgotten by your ACC family. It's a privilege to be here and to share the incredible excitement that's happening in the ACC. Let me start by acknowledging the city of Charlotte, our new conference home. Just a few blocks away on the 12th floor of the Legacy Union building, renovation work will soon be complete, and our staff will be moving into this space in the weeks ahead. Since announcing our relocation back in September, there has been a lot of positive energy between the city, the conference, and our membership. We've already held multiple league meetings in Uptown, which simultaneously provided the opportunity for our school leaders to meet with community and business leaders and the many sports teams that call Charlotte home. As we ramp up our presence in Charlotte in the weeks and months ahead, we anticipate strengthening our relationship with the city through meaningful partnerships, including future events and championships. With nearly 90,000 ACC school alumni in the Queen City, our bond is already strong. Running parallel to our office relocation is a new strategic marketing and branding initiative that we began in January. After a thorough process that included not only the conference, but our 15 member schools, we are proud to be partnering with Wasserman and their creative agency Laundry Service. We look forward to the next month when we will launch, in conjunction with our schools, our new forward-facing brand campaign that will be inclusive of television, radio, out-of-home, and digital and social assets. In addition to our focus on our future in Charlotte, we remain in constant communication with Disney and ESPN, as there is no single business partnership in our industry that is valued more than with a conference's media rights holder. And certainly one of the most turbulent times in history for both media and college sports, I and the ACC have never felt better about our relationship than we do today. Our commitment to collaborate on ways to advance the ACC from both a revenue and exposure standpoint has been unwavering. The work that's been done over this past year, particularly in the last 6 months, as the Disney leadership and ESPN has been solidified, has been incredibly important to our partnership. Jimmy Pitaro, Burke Magnus, Roz Durant, Nick Dawson, and their entire team have been terrific, and collectively we have, one, agreed on a comprehensive, mutually beneficial growth and innovation strategy moving forward, and second, put in motion several priority initiatives, the combination of which we believe will transform our conference for years to come. Our schools and fans will immediately benefit from significantly increased ACC football television exposure on ABC and ESPN platforms, elevated production value and innovative creative approaches tied to those ABC broadcasts, a commitment to greater integration of ACC schools across all aspects of the network, production, programming, storytelling, sales, and marketing, in a collective mission to enhance and grow this unique and very valuable shared venture. Meaningful new events and programming led by the debut of the ACC-SEC Men's and Women's Basketball Challenges exclusively on the ESPN family of networks. Near and longer-term initiatives include continued creative approaches across all 28 ACC-sponsored sports, especially in football and men's and women's basketball. Significant partnerships on data and technology. Coordinated strategies around the quickly evolving direct-to-consumer marketplace. Deeper campus integrations across a range of areas, including programming and production enhancements, coordinated brand positioning, marketing and promotional programs, and most importantly, corporate sales opportunities. In sum, a comprehensive commitment from the top leadership levels to support our shared goals to innovate, grow, and thrive competitively, holistically, and financially into the next decade and beyond. In addition to these future initiatives, there were significant enhancements that took place this past year. In August, ESPN acquired the rights to the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament and Baseball Championship, giving ACCN exclusive coverage to the preliminary rounds of both events. As part of these marquee events, in addition to other championships, ACCN was on site throughout with live studio programming. In February, the ACC announced in partnership with Disney and Ally, whose headquarters are across the street from our new office, that Ally was becoming an official sponsor. In addition to their sponsorship of the league, Ally is the title sponsor of the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament and Women's Soccer Championship, and was the presenting sponsor of the 2023 ACC Women's Lacrosse Championship. Our relationship directly benefits our 15-member institutions, 28 sponsored sports, and nearly 10,000 student athletes. We are also thrilled with our collective commitment to the support and advancement of women's sports, and I applaud our Disney and ESPN partners for working aggressively to foster this amazing relationship. I will share some additional thoughts on television in the upcoming season, but let me first address some timely league and national topics. First, I'm proud that our president and chancellors and our athletic directors continue to have healthy, honest, and direct conversations about working together as we collectively navigate the future. I'm well aware of the narrative and stories surrounding the ACC and our members, as well as the frustrations of some of our schools on our financials. But these are not new. The initiatives I just mentioned, combined with future endeavors, are designed to ensure that the ACC remains a healthy and vibrant conference that competes at the highest level and is capable of winning 9 national titles like this past year, if not more. At the end of May, following an analysis and discussion that took place throughout the past year, the board announced its endorsement of a success incentive initiative that will begin during the 2024-25 academic year. Under this initiative, financial distribution enhancements based on team performances from revenue-generating postseason competition will allow our schools who invest and achieve additional revenue. The working group of presidents and chancellors continue to make progress, and following a full board decision in the future, we'll certainly share more details. While there are legitimate discussions and stories regarding revenue and our membership, it's important that all of us never lose perspective on just what we are doing together. The last 2 years, the ACC leads all conferences in NCAA titles. All 15 schools won an ACC regular season or championship title this past year. Academically, there are no better collection of schools, and our student-athlete experience and support beyond athletics and academics is second to none. The bottom line is that our conference is strong, and I'm extremely bullish about our future together. From a national perspective, our conference continues to be a leader in efforts to find solutions for college athletics' most pressing issues. We remain focused, which includes making frequent trips to Washington, D.C., on working with our representatives to find a national solution to the race to the bottom from state legislators addressing name, image, and likeness. The ACC remains strongly in favor of our student-athletes benefiting from the use of their name, image, and likeness. The framework that we continue to advance includes preempting the patchwork of inconsistent state laws through federal legislation is critical to providing clarity for our student-athletes and institutions. There's a need to reaffirm that the student-institution relationship is just that. Our athletes are students, not employees. The college athletics enterprise must also be able to enhance and adapt the student-athlete experience without the constant threat of lawsuits that use funds for defense that could otherwise benefit our student-athletes. At the same time, we have been crystal clear about the need to protect our student-athletes from bad actors through agent certification, transparency and consistent disclosure of NIL deals, and continued education of student-athletes around financial literacy and personal branding. We owe this to all our student-athletes. I applaud recent efforts on both sides of the aisle in Congress to work together and address these issues. The ACC continues to fully engage to ensure that this momentum towards a national solution continues. ACC institutions do a great job of providing support for its student-athletes, and the protections we seek align with what our student-athletes are asking for as well. We remain close to our ACC Student-Athlete Advisory Committee, who's here with us today, to make certain we are listening to what's most important to the overwhelming majority of our student-athletes. At this time, I'd like to ask our SAC representatives to stand and please be recognized. Our student-athletes and those that compete in other leagues represent not only themselves, their families, schools, and conferences, and even their countries. As we look ahead to the 2024 Olympic Games, consider this. Currently, there are more than 100 current or former ACC athletes from 15 sports training on U.S. national teams that aim to qualify for the Paris Olympic Games. The 2023 FINA World Championships began on July 22nd, and 11 different ACC swimmers will represent Team USA and their schools on the international stage. Team USA's opening match of the 2023 FIFA World Cup this past Friday, 5 ACC athletes from 4 different schools wore the red, white, and blue as Team USA seeks to claim its 3rd consecutive championships title this summer. Speaking of the Women's World Cup, a total of 29 current and former ACC student-athletes representing 9 different countries are competing on this year's biggest stage. College sports has been incredibly important and successful in providing broad-based programming and educational opportunities for young men and women, which is why it is imperative for the college community to address today's challenges. Wherever possible, in addition to any assistance we receive from Washington, D.C. How might the college community and the ACC continue to lead in order to bring more clarity and sanity to the current environment? First, NCAA regulations currently prohibit inducements and pay-for-play. These restrictions must be addressed via a robust national enforcement effort to the extent possible within current state NIL laws. Second, NCAA regulations currently prohibit boosters from engaging in recruitment of prospects. The reports of booster engagement and recruiting through collectives and other efforts under the label of NIL are widespread. I will repeat, I strongly and the conference strongly supports student-athletes' ability to monetize their name, image, and likeness through endorsement contracts, social media opportunities, and other legitimate NIL activities. Payments by boosters tied to attendance at a specific institution is not legitimate NIL activity. Third, we must act to develop guardrails to ensure that student-athletes have access to NIL opportunities, untainted by inducements, as well as reliable information about legitimate NIL opportunities and value. The recent unprecedented transfers of student-athletes are tainted by inducements disguised as NIL money. Too many student-athletes enter the transfer portal based on rumor or bad advice. only to find they have no place to go. It's the ultimate game of musical chairs. This is detrimental to their education and future. Must stop. We can assist student athletes by providing as much transparency as possible regarding NIL. Fourth, we must also act to ensure that student athletes have access to legitimate representation in the form of certified agents and are making decisions informed by facts, not empty promises made to recruit the athlete. The current opportunities for student athletes are immense, and I will continue to work with others in the college community to protect those opportunities and ensure they are untainted by inducements, bad actors, and false promises. As commissioner, and in unison with the leadership of the league, inclusive of our CEOs, ADs, administrators, and coaches, we will continue to fight for a system that provides access and affordable higher education annually to almost 10,000 ACC student athletes. We will continue to fight for a system that has provided countless opportunities for young men and women to develop the skills necessary to become leaders when they otherwise may not have had access to college. We will fight for a system that provides the opportunity for student athletes to realize their dream of being a professional athlete or representing their country on the biggest international stages. And we will fight for a system that has done so much to advance women's sports in this country, which has even more meaning to me as a father of 5 with a daughter playing collegiate soccer. I've enjoyed collaborating with new NCAA President Charlie Baker, as have our board of directors and athletic directors. There is significant work ahead, and we look forward to being part of the progress and ultimate solutions for the betterment of all student athletes. The college football playoff has been an ongoing storyline, and the ACC continues to be supportive of the expanded playoff. This past year, we led an effort that made significant progress and resolutions surrounding a college football 365-day calendar. This initiative has already led to meaningful changes related to player safety that are reflected in the new playing rules that begin this fall. This includes the clock continuing to run after first downs unless it occurs inside of 2 minutes in either half, which will limit the number of student-athlete contact exposures. Heading into this year, the ACC has placed the second most teams in the CFP. Since the inception of the playoff and over the last decade, the ACC has won the second most football national championships. Before I continue, I do want to take a minute to acknowledge the recent retirement announcement by CFP Executive Director Bill Hancock. Bill's a wonderful friend who has led postseason college football for nearly 2 decades with incredible steadiness. His love for college athletics, and specifically the student athletes, is unwavering, and we look forward to celebrating him and Nikki as they move on to the next chapter. Today we are here to celebrate the ACC and look ahead to the upcoming football season, and we have so much to be proud of as a conference. It was another record-breaking year as our teams combined to capture the most NCAA championships of any conference with a league record 9 national titles. And the 16 NCAA titles over the last 2 academic years are also the most of any conference. In addition, 17 ACC teams joined the conference's 9 NCAA champions by reaching the finals or semifinals in their respective sport, with 7 playing in the national championship game, including an all-ACC contest in women's tennis, men's lacrosse. 16 ACC programs finished the year ranked either number 1 or number 2 in the final polls, the most of all conferences. And in the final Learfield Directors' Cup standings, 6 schools ranked among the top 20, the 21st consecutive year that 4 or more ACC schools have placed in the top 30 nationally. From an academic perspective, there's no stronger collection of institutions than those in the ACC, whether it's national academic rankings, graduation success rates, academic performance rates, or other list of distinction. This league shines. Each month, I invite student athletes to join our full staff meetings, and we hear countless stories from them that the opportunity to leave with a degree, sometimes multiple degrees, is priceless. This is another area that hits home, as this past spring, our oldest son completed his 2nd ACC degree while finishing his eligibility as a track student athlete. And he's just one of many examples within the conference. Beyond the classrooms and athletic competition, the ACC remains committed to the ongoing work in racial and social justice, health and safety, and professional development. 2 weeks ago, we held the 2023 ACC Unity Tour in Washington, D.C. This year's event followed the inaugural tour that took place in Selma and Montgomery last summer, which is absolutely amazing. During our 4 days in D.C., 10 representatives from each of our 15 schools participated in an immersive experience called Awareness to Action. It was an incredible trip that allowed us to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington and experience the National Museum of African American History and Culture and the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. The visit also included a gender equity and sports panel sponsored by our Orange Bowl partners. In May, our league partnered with the U.S. Council for Athletes' Health to further the 15 institutions' collective commitment to providing comprehensive services to our student athletes. The partnership is overseen by the ACC Healthcare Administrators Group, which includes experts from each of our member institutions. We collaborate on conference-wide athletic medicine, health and safety initiatives, including the league's annual Health and Safety Summit. In addition, ACC sports medicine professionals now have 24/7 access to the Council's membership platform, strategically designed to assist our schools in providing unsurpassed health care. Our league and member institutions continue to be committed to broad-based programs and the opportunities they provide. On July 1st, our league officially welcomed gymnastics as its 28th sponsored sport and 15th women's sports offering. The 15 women's sports are the most among our peer conferences, and no other peer conference sponsors more than 28 sports. We are 37 days away from when ACC football kicks off the 2023 season. I know there is great excitement and anticipation. We welcome 2 new head coaches to the league, Georgia Tech's Brent Key and Louisville's Jeff Brom. Both are terrific additions to an outstanding group of coaches currently in the ACC. Following the 2022 regular season, we announced Alberto Riveron as the new ACC Supervisor of Officials. Al joined the league after serving as an NFL rules analyst the past few years and was previously the NFL's Senior VP of Officiating. He brings a distinguished 30-year career as both an NCAA and NFL on-field official and an officiating administrator. Al just finished the league's football officiating clinic last week and will be available later today in this room. During that time, I encourage you to ask about our efforts since his arrival, his campus travels to meet with the coaches, and his collaboration with our officials. This spring, we hired 8 position supervisors who have all worked in D1 college football, and all but one currently serves as an NFL official. During the season, these supervisors will assist in evaluating every ACC game to ensure consistency across all on-field officiating positions. Once again, the ACC's non-conference schedule is arguably the toughest in the country. 25 games against Power 5 opponents, 11 non-conference games against teams ranked in the final 2022 Associated Press Top 25 poll, 27 games against opponents that appeared in a bowl game last year, and 11 non-conference games against teams in ESPN's 2023 Way Too Early Top 25. The season will begin on Thursday, August 31st, with our teams featured in 12 games over 5 straight days. No other league plays across all 5 days on Labor Day weekend, and this is the 5th time in the last 7 years. And yes, I'm planning to try to get to every one of those opening games. If you want to join me, please let me know. I'll take you along. Last summer, the league announced that 2023 would be the first of its new 3-5-5 conference scheduling model that provides significant enhancements, the most important of which is that our student athletes will have a chance to play every school, both home and away, over a 4-year period. The model eliminates divisions, with the top 2 teams based on winning percentage competing in the ACC Football Championship game at the Bank of America Stadium on the first Saturday of December. Following the regular season and championship game, our teams will have the opportunity to compete in the college football playoff or participate in a bowl game anchored by our partnership with the Capital One Orange Bowl. The ACC has 12 amazing bowl destinations throughout the country that all provide memorable experiences. As I indicated earlier, and in conjunction with our partners at ESPN, we have significantly increased ACC football television exposure on ABC and ESPN platforms. During the first 3 weeks, the ACC has scheduled a pair of games on ABC's Saturday Night Football, as well as 11 appearances on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2. In total, 7 ACC contests are scheduled for national ABC broadcast, and ACC Network will also feature 13 games. In fact, of the 10 full national ABC telecasts, 7 of them feature 7 different institutions. We're also thrilled that ESPN's College Game Day announced yesterday that they will be live from the Queen City on Saturday, September 2nd. College football's premier pregame show will air ahead of the primetime Duke's Mayo Classic featuring North Carolina. In addition to our partners at ESPN, we welcome the CW Network to our lineup of broadcast partners. Beginning this year, the CW will broadcast 13 ACC football games throughout the regular season. Raycom will produce the games, and we are thrilled with the CW's national distribution. Beginning in August, ACC Network will embark on the 3rd annual ACC Football Road Trip. Once again, this initiative will deliver 14 one-hour shows airing in prime time from each of our campuses. Following this forum, I'll invite the ACC Network to come up and make an announcement. There continues to be significant excitement surrounding the future of ACCN and its football programming. Before I close, and unrelated to the ACC, I do want to briefly address the ongoing matter at Northwestern, as I'm sure some of you have questions. As you are aware, I released a statement last week. This is a very difficult time for the Northwestern community, and my heart goes out to any person who carries the burden of mistreatment or who has been harmed in any way. During my 30-year career in college athletics, my highest priority has always been the health and safety of all student athletes. As you know, with this matter in litigation, I'm unable to share anything more at this time. I'm happy to address your questions about the ACC and the ACC football. So let me turn it over to Amy and we'll get started.
Thanks, Commish. We will get to as many questions as we can here this morning. We do have multiple microphone holders placed throughout the room, so if you could make sure